Hey guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for hanging out with me today. So, before we get into talking about this week's episode of Oto Tomare, I do want to apologize for not making a video last week, just talking about last week's episode. It's just, I didn't have time to watch that episode that whole week until, the next episode showed up and I was like, oh crap, I forgot to watch the episode. I was pretty much busy just editing the podcast, and I had so much fun editing the podcast, and I was excited to get it out as soon as possible, so that led me to forget about the episode. Whoopsie on my part, and I feel really bad, and I'm really sorry about that. Also, one and last final note before we get into talking about this week's episode is that I will not be covering next week's episode just because it's the week of Thanksgiving, and I have family coming over, so just know that I won't be covering this upcoming episode that's coming out on Saturday, so just to let you guys know that you guys won't be looking for it. Anywho, now that I'm done, let's go ahead and dive into this week's episode of Oto Tomare. So this week's episode, basically, we start off with Akira saying she wants to quit, and the teacher is like asking her like what was her reason. Because from what I can tell, the teacher could also, like I said before in my previous video, that the teacher is super observant and he can tell, like, I don't know, I feel like with the teacher he can like see through you and he can kind of get a sense of who you are like right away. So I think just hearing Akita say, that she felt like she wasn't good enough, that she wasn't a perfect fit for the Koto Club members. I feel like he knew that she was running away from something, but he didn't know exactly what. He didn't really want to push her further. He was just like, alright, like if you have your own reasons, I think you're pretty good with the kids. The kids seem to be improving a lot more because of your guidance, but you do you, boo. That's kind of like the gist of like their conversation. And their conversation does lead to Akira pretty much to go back to the Koto Club for the day, and he pretty much suggested, he's just like, well, just since it's gonna be your final day, just go ahead and do your job for today. That's all. And I'm really glad that Akira decided to go to the club room for her last time, so to speak. She was able to see just how much of her guidance really impacted everybody, and she was able to hear just how much in a few days, or however long it's been since she's been there, how much they've improved. Like, she was pretty surprised and she didn't expect that. Just based on her expression, she was just kind of taken back and she was like, did I really do this? Did I really have a part in helping these kids out? Like, she was just really, really shocked. On top of that, it seems like everyone in the club has slowly gotten more comfortable with Akira, especially after hearing her performance, because they did tell her like, hey, we did watch your performance that won you first place, and the way that you played basically let us know that you're not a bad person. You really do care about the koto, and that the way that she plays, she produces each sound with so much care and so much love, which that ended up taking her like by surprise. And you can tell like that really touched her just based on her expression alone. I don't think she expected that she would, like I said earlier, have this much of an impact with the kids, or that the kids would have this much of an impact on her. Because throughout this episode, we slowly start to see Akira change little by little, and you can kind of see that her walls are slowly like coming down, which I really, really loved and enjoyed. And there was a moment where she pairs up Chika and Sane, and she realizes it like a little bit late, where she's like, oh crap, I paired up these two plus Hozuki. This is not a good combination, because she's been noticing since like the last episode that basically Chika and Hozuki are in a different level than Sane. Sane has been having trouble getting in sync with the two, and he keeps getting swayed by Hozuki's sound or Chika's, like the way that the other two are playing, and he's not playing the way that he should be. And you could tell that this is like slowly frustrating him. He's just like, oh crap, like I can't hold the other two back, and he's trying his hardest. And in this moment, Akita, I feel like Akita definitely sees herself a little bit in this boy, Sane. Just like the way that he's always constantly trying hard. Because there's like a moment of panic that Akita has, and she's like, wait, like stop. Like we can like take a breather and just stop for now and move on to like something else. But thankfully Chika comes in and he's just like, no, like let's do this one more time. He can do it. And basically he like encourages Sane, and you can tell like that really meant a lot to him. And you know, these two like joking around, Chika's like, well, if you make a mistake, you owe me like a strawberry milk thing, whatever, like those little drinks that he always drinks. So that really encouraged him, and before we all knew it, he finally got it and got the hang of his part. And seeing this happen right in front of her eyes, Akira was like so moved, because thanks to Sane, I don't think he knew, but thanks to him, she was able to see like if you try hard enough, like results will come like of it. She also realized that all the hard work that you put in and all the effort and into anything that you put in is not worthless. It's not a waste of time, and she realizes it through the kids, and that's when she starts crying. And then you have Chika and Sane going crazy. They're like, oh my gosh, what did we do now? I thought that was a really hilarious little moment between the two. And I really like how Akita was like, no, don't worry, it's just something in my eye. And they were like, these two, they were like, oh, okay, like, I'm glad to hear that. Like, it's, you know, like those idiots. I love them. It's so hilarious because you can tell like Chika and his friends are like, oh, okay, that's it. But like everyone else in the club is just like, really, that wasn't it. That wasn't the reason that she was crying. Like, it was just so hilarious. But anyway, I think practicing a little bit more with the kids and seeing how hard Sane was trying really opened up Akita a lot more. And then we also have Takinami sensei. He comes in during the practice and he gives a little bit of advice to everyone, just like how he always does, where he pops in and out. And he tells Hozuki and Akira to play the piece together. That way they can hear it and like listen to how it's supposed to be played. Which Akira at first is like, why? But then he tells, I think he told Akira, or was it one of the kids? I can't remember. But basically Takinami sensei says, you know, they learn better by hearing than just by you telling them. So that's what happens. And oh my gosh, listening to Hozuki and Akira play together was so beautiful. And what I really loved is that we were able to like hear their thoughts. You can hear Hozuki saying, you know, we're able to learn a little bit about each other. And then I can't remember exactly what Akira said, but she said something about like Akira says that they accept and also improve each other. And I'm just like, is that not them at this moment, like right now? Which like I started freaking out when I heard this, and I like that they were saying, you know, that their sounds may be different, but like coming together, like it's producing a new beautiful sound together. And it's just like like I really enjoyed this moment. And obviously like this moved everybody to tears, and now they know what the piece is supposed to sound like and how it's supposed to be played. So this like encourages them even more to do better and improve. And Akira basically goes home after this. And when Akira went home, like you can tell she was super distracted and really thinking about just everything that happened during her time that day, that she wasn't really listening to what her grandma was saying. Which her grandma, I swear to God, every time that she comes in, I get so annoyed, especially when she talks bad about my Koto kids. Like, it doesn't sit well with me, man. Like, oh. Like this old lady, why is she so bitter? Like, she needs to chill out. The old lady does notice that there's something up with Akira, because Akira just excuses herself, but she can obviously tell that there's something up and that she's distracted. And this kind of sets off red flags for the old lady. Since we're on the topic of the old lady, I guess let's go ahead and continue, because she later finds out that Akira like left the next day and early in the morning, and they're not supposed to have like, she wasn't basically supposed to be at the school helping the kids that day. So just by hearing that she went off, she was like, well, I need to do something about this right now and squash it before anything happens. And I was just like, oh, this freaking old lady, like Akita, is slowly like opening up, and she's slowly like she's seemingly getting better, and this old lady is gonna get in the way, and I am scared, and I really hope she doesn't like mess things up for everyone in the Koto Club, because I swear to God, if she messes anything up, I will riot. This old lady, I don't like her, and I don't appreciate her trying to talk down on the kids and like try to mess things up, all because she doesn't want Hozuki to come back into their lives, and she just wants Akita to stay in the top spot. Like, who cares about the top spot? Like, worry about your granddaughter's well-being. Like, anyways, besides the bitter old grandma, continuing on with Akita goes and talks to Takinami sensei, and she basically tells him like, hey, like, I know I've been causing a lot of trouble, but I want to continue teaching these kids. I really like that when she was talking with him, she does mention, she's like, are you even serious about taking them to nationals? Because she noticed how like Takinami sensei's in and out, and he tells her, you know, there's only so much I can teach them, but you, on the other hand, you've been teaching them like a lot, and they've been taking it in little by little, and you've been greatly improving the kids. But I think what really touched her the most during this conversation was when Takinami sensei and her, well, she basically asked like, why would you trust these kids with a complete stranger like me? Like, I could easily have done something. And Takinami sensei says, well, based on your conversation when you came in and met with me and the principal, you didn't seem that way, especially based on your track record and everything. Seeing someone care so much about the Koto and seeing just how much effort and practice you've been putting those 2 years, like, he basically, how can I not trust someone that's so determined and had this amount of resolve? So like, there's no way I could turn you away. This basically is what really moves her. Basically is like the final touch for her to basically reassure herself that all this practice and effort and time that she's put in the Koto, it wasn't for nothing if she could stand here and teach these kids. And I was like, oh, like, she gets it. She gets it that, you know, trying so hard and working hard for the things that you love, like, it does produce results. Maybe not right away, but like, it does eventually bear fruit and turn into something beautiful. And now that she's finally realized this, I cannot wait to see like how much further she's going to take our Koto Club kids, and just see like how much she's going to teach them and how they're going to continue to grow with her by their side. So I'm really excited to see like more of Akita and get to know her now that she has had basically her walls a little bit torn down. So it's gonna be really interesting, especially her relationship with Hozuki. It's gonna be an interesting ride. So yeah, anyways, that is it for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me ramble on, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!